How you doing?
I'm good, great. I just wanted to follow up. So I know when we talked a couple months ago, you mentioned you hadn't felt knee pain in a really long time. How are you feeling health-wise these days? And is that right knee holding up the way that you hoped it would?
Yeah, the knees have been great. The diet that I'm on, the strength training, the rehab type of stuff that we've been doing has been great. Haven't felt that in a long time. Knock on wood, doing that every day. But yeah, I felt great. Going through, I sprained my ankle pretty good. Over a month ago. So there's some stuff this week I have been limited on, but most have been able to participate in mostly everything we're doing. But health-wise, there's nothing I expect uh, that's going to be a problematic moving forward right now. Obviously, we don't know when we're going to be playing yet, training camp-wise, but overall, I feel really good. Body's great.
All right. Next question from Chris Kirschner with The Athletic.
Go Yankees.
So
Yeah, we hopefully we win. So when you were going into last season, you had mentioned the fact that you want to become more aggressive in driving to the rim, and this past season your numbers were down from your rookie season. Is that still a priority for you, and what are you specifically working on to get better in attacking the rim?
yeah, that's definitely a priority. It's a priority for a lot of guys on our team, honestly, and me specifically. That was something that definitely wasn't as good at last year. I think a lot of that too was just didn't feel as explosive at times as I did in my rookie year, and took me a little while to get to a point where body wise I was finding things I was working, and I know we've been over that a bunch, but definitely an area I'm looking to improve on. Continuing again, just spent a lot of time upper body wise in the weight room. Really, the past I would say month and a half, 2 months have been really focused on our upper body. I would say during quarantine when I was home, it was bigger emphasis on my lower body, and so just similarly things that I was doing last year is obviously going to try to go into the season as healthy as possible and get my body feeling good, but continue to build my body to be able to go in and finish amongst bigger players.
All right. Next question from Edwin Powell.
Hey, what's going on, Kevin? With the introduction of COVID and the season seeming extremely long, I know you guys are creatures of habit. How have you been adjusting to the new schedule of you're still like doing mini camp while the NBA Finals is going on? How have you guys been adjusting?
I'm not gonna lie, it does feel a little bit like Groundhog's Day. You're really getting up, and I'm sure it does for everybody. So this is just us with our team. It seems like really the past 6 months, I get up and I work out around 10 every day, and 10 to about 2, I'm in the gym, I'm doing something, and I go home, and it feels like I've been doing that for a really, really long time. And this training camp, it's been great. Just change of setting, getting the opportunity to be together as a team, getting to spend time with our team outside of the gym, which has been a good mix up. But when it comes to actually working out, it's a very similar schedule to what we've been doing. It's not an individual focus; it's more of a team focus. So COVID's definitely it's made it seem a little like Groundhog's Day around here.
All right. Next question from Jamila Johnson.
Hey, Kevin. So my question is, we did see video of John Collins, hitting his 100th free throw in a row. Was that a competition you guys were having, or is that just something you guys do after practice? And also, what's the largest number of shots, consecutive shots that you've hit, if you can remember?
Yeah, so it was actually really funny. So we have a shooting board, as I'm sure you guys have seen in our gym, and the only current record that I don't have is the free throws. Before that was held by Charlie Brown. And granted, a lot of guys haven't done the competitions over the course of the past 6 months. So currently, like I said, so the free throws are the only one I haven't gotten, and I've legitimately attempted it like almost every day. And the previous record was at 57, and I couldn't beat it. And so, of course, yesterday we're shooting free throws, and all we were told is you're making 20, see how many you can make out of 20. So I think I go 18 for 20, John goes 20 for 20. So we're like, all right, like just keep shooting. And so all of a sudden, like he makes 40, and all of a sudden he makes, and I'm rebounding for him. I'm sitting here like, I've been trying to do this damn thing for 6 months now. and John he didn't miss, and he didn't even he got to 100 and missed on purpose. So we're like, John, how do you not keep going? So it was really impressive. My free throws, I haven't made 50 in a row, and so that was something that John did that was impressive. And I don't know how much higher he could have gone. He felt bad that we were sitting there watching him, and I was like, man, if you're gonna make 100 free throws, I'll sit here all day.
Thank you.
All right. Next question from Kevin Taylor.
Hi, Kevin. I know that you said that you've been in the weight room, in the beginning stages of mini camp, but also are you trying to improve a part of your game with driving more to the basket as well?
Yeah, always. And like I was saying, that's definitely changing mindset, changing definitely my body, feeling explosive, just getting more comfortable, obviously doing it. And I think there's a lot of different things that contribute to it. I expect, really, I guess I'm a year and a half into my career, but technically going into my third year, I think there's continuously just getting more comfortable, figuring out different things about the NBA. And I really do. I expect to be better at that this year.
We'll go back to Chris.
Do you feel like you took the step forward that you wanted to in year two? And if so, why do you feel like you got better in certain areas?
Yes and no. Overall as a pro, I definitely feel like I got better, and that comes to my habits. Habits both on and off the court. I think I learned a lot more. Just being a rookie. Being a rookie in the NBA, it really is tough, and it's the year that a lot of guys go through. It's a really long year, and just not being a rookie. So I do think in a lot of ways I did feel like I gained a lot out of last year, and stuff that's going to make me even better moving forward. Stuff I feel like I almost had to go through in order to reach the goals that I set for myself for the rest of my career. On court, obviously, I'm always tough on myself, but I know I could have played better in certain situations. I think specifically I could have shot it better. I know that 40% from three was something that I set for myself going into the year, and there's times I shot it really well. There's, I think, a month span I was shooting up around 46 and then kind of hit a cold streak towards the end of COVID and dropped below 40. So that's a goal I have for myself is shooting better. Specifically on the court, I think, I've alluded to in the past is, when I'm on the court, I feel like that's where you get better. And that's what's been great about me playing for the Hawks is since I came in as a rookie, I've earned the minutes, but I played a lot of minutes. So I think anytime on the court I'm progressing, and I'm excited for what lies ahead in year three.
We'll go back to Sarah.
What kind of progression and improvements do you want to see Cam Reddish and DeAndre Huerter make going into their second year now that they've kind of got their rookie, struggles out of the way?
Yeah, the biggest thing with being a rookie is consistency. Rookies, a lot of times you show, they both were able to show obviously how good they are in spurts. It's really across the board. Everybody goes through it. So just being a little bit more consistent. That's really it. I think those guys, they have a lot of tools. I think as a team, we have a lot of things we need to get better at. Specifically, a lot on the defensive end. Offensively is getting a lot of guys involved, moving the ball around, playing with each other a little bit better. And Cam and Dre, I think they're coming along great. It's just like everybody else has to do, continue to work on their bodies, continue to try to get more consistent.
Back to Kevin Taylor.
All right, Kevin, when you came into the league a couple of years ago, we did a segment for my show called From One Kevin to Another, and you disclosed to me that you were a Giants fan. Now, I'm, of course, a lifelong Falcon fan. They're 0-3. Your Giants are 0-3. I don't know if you've been able to keep up with everything that's been going on, but what's your assessment of the Giants right now, starting the season winless? Yeah,
unfortunately, I probably don't have too much good to say. It's tough times being a fan for both teams. Unfortunately, I have. I've followed them really closely. I've seen all 3 games so far. I do fantasy football, stuff like that. I'm waiting for us to turn it around, and I'll leave it at that.
All right, me too.
All right, we'll go back to Chris Kirshner.
I know you were dinged up quite a bit this past season. How much would you say that limited your ability to improve the way you wanted to last season?
It's always you don't make excuses as an athlete. But there was a lot of, my extra time, there's a lot of time that I spent rehab-wise and working on my body that I remember just plainly rookie year. Going into my rookie year, I remember when we had R.J. Hunter, and unbelievable shooter. And, I was obviously, shooting was a strength of mine coming to the league. We almost every day in the fall were coming back, going 2 days and coming back and doing shooting competition drills together. And Coach Nate Babcock was putting us through it. We were in there usually 6 at night, and for about an hour and a half, we were going through all these sorts of shooting drills and really pushing each other. And that wasn't something I was able to do last year just because of load management and making sure I was healthy for training camp and doing rehab and this and that. And specifically just the extra time on the court working on my game, I feel like a lot of time I did miss out on it. From back in the schedule, I went most of that summer with knee pain, and then when I got back to Atlanta, that's where I started doing the rehab and trying to address it. And so it did. It did, just for that fact of not being able to put in the extra work that I'm used to doing and want to do. So like I said, I think that'll change going into this year and hopefully going to training camp in the season healthy.
Sarah?
Not to be a downer and ask about injuries, but you said you sprained your ankle. Where are you in recovering from that? Which ankle was it? Did you just roll it, or how did it kind of happen?
Yeah, left ankle. It was within a workout. It was something that was kind of, it's going to be fine. It's not something I'm worried about moving forward. I'm in the end stages of it. Just been limited a little bit this week. Some of the full court stuff, probably not staying in as long as I would have in previous times, but it's not something I see as a problem moving forward.
Gotcha.
Right. Yakiri with Chicks Into Sports.
Hi, Kevin. My question to you is, you guys have been away from each other for quite a while. Can you just speak a little bit on the team chemistry right now?
It's been great. Honestly, this bubble just for that aspect has been great. And you're right away, if you're told you got to stay 5 miles away from your house in a hotel, right away there's a negative stigma around it. It's like, I don't want to do that. And you kind of question it, why can't we just do this or that? But really every night, the Hawks, they've made it about as good as you can. And we got a little players lounge down the hotel lobby. There's ping pong down there. There is a bar. They don't serve any hard alcohol, so it's nothing like that. But guys are hanging out. There's a bunch of TVs. There's video games. There's golf putting greens. There's old time video games. So there's a lot to do. And a lot of guys are playing cards, playing Monopoly. So really it's been great just for the past week. Everybody at night, our schedule's mainly, you go practice in the afternoon. Everyone mostly takes naps. Everyone goes down and eat. And then really around 7, 8 o'clock, most of the team is down there just doing something. And that's been great for a younger team like us and with a lot of new faces. And we're still going to add, I don't know how many guys. We have 15 guys here right now. A bunch of guys from our Skyhawks team, which have been great. But we assume we're going to bring in more guys. But the people we have here and just getting Clinton here, I know that we've been able to spend a lot of time with Clint, getting to know him a little bit better, just for the rest of the team and with the coaching staff. It's been great just spending time with everybody.
Thank you.
All right, we'll go to Andrew Friedman from Georgia State University.
Hey, Kevin, how are you?
Good. How you doing?
I'm doing well. I just wanted to get your thoughts on what your goals were going into the season. I know you guys have had a lot of time off, obviously some new pieces, and then with the draft coming up too. In terms of both your personal goals and just for the team, what are you looking to do this year?
I think we're finally allowed to say it publicly. I know Lloyd said it, but our whole focus as a team is making the playoffs. And we looked at definitely some of the teams that are in it from the Eastern Conference this year. I know that there's definitely teams that, we think we can jump ahead of going into next year. And we're trying to make the playoffs. It's really kind of the main focus for us. It's something we talked about even at the beginning of this training camp, is a lot of individual stats and individual accolades have to be put aside. And we have to really try to come together as a team. For the most part, we felt like, even though the last 3 years have been a growing process and a rebuild, whatever you want to call it, we felt in some areas we've underachieved. And as a team, I know players-wise, it's tough to come in and lose a lot of games and not feel like you're underachieving. So we want to change that around. We want to make the playoffs.
Thank you.
Let's go back to Sarah.
Kind of building on what you just said, in what ways do you guys think you are poised to be able to compete for, whether it's an 8 seed or just getting into the playoffs? What are the biggest, strengths that you guys think can get you there this season? I mean, I know that might be a little hard to answer when you don't have your full roster yet, but just as far as the guys that you do have under contract.
I know just from watching these playoffs and seeing the different lineups that work, I think our team, we have a lot of versatility. And, I think for a lot of times the last 2 years, different guys we brought in have definitely been, I would imagine guys that we knew wouldn't be here very long. And so I think we got a core group of guys that we know works and have put together really good minutes for us at times and been really competitive. And we just kind of mix in different guys, and whoever we bring in or draft, or obviously guys we have here that have been great for us, whoever we mix in, and just being able to put together guys that expect to be here past 1 year, the guys that are going to be committed to building something and competing for something bigger than just that individual year and possibly their next contract. And so, like I said, we got a core group of guys that we know that we think works and has been really good together. We just got to find pieces to complement that.
As a quick follow-up, I know you guys are used to fielding questions about defensive improvement. You got Clint now, do you anticipate that helping defensively? But how important is it as a group to improve defensively so that you can, achieve that playoff goal?
Yeah, Clint will be great just as an anchor-wise, just protecting the rim. Intelligence-wise, Clint, I think he's 25, and he's one of the oldest guys on our team, but he's been in some really big competitive games, and obviously all his Rockets teams. So he's been in the moment, and he knows a lot of different schemes and a lot of different defenses. And I think there's guys that are definitely capable of being better defensively, including myself, and just continuing to learn the schemes of the NBA and using our versatility. We can throw a lot of different lineups out there, throw a lot of different length at different teams, and we just got a lot of it's effort, a lot of it is learning schemes, and we've had a lot of rookies really the past couple of years. So as guys move into their second and third year, I think we'll definitely be better.
All right, we'll go to Kevin Chenard from Hawks.com.
You mentioned wanting to be in the playoffs and watching the playoffs this year. What sorts of takeaways have you gotten from the on-court product that you've seen in this postseason?
A lot of regular season lineups definitely have not worked in the playoffs so far. I think that's something that we've gained, is there's been a lot of mix matching and different lineups that, like I said, haven't worked, and there's been a lot of different adjustments that had to be made. And I think you look at it again as small ball has kind of been running the playoffs again with the Celtics obviously using it a lot. The Heat with playing Crowder at the 4 and Jimmy at the 3. I think there's definitely different lineups that have been thrown out, and you watch the playoffs, a lot of different guys have stepped up, and they've been really entertaining. I know it's tough to watch without fans, but us watching the playoffs, again, I think we watch it, and we know we're not where those teams are yet, but for lack of I guess it doesn't feel like we're watching it. It doesn't feel like we're that far away, and I know we are. They're the Western Conference, Eastern Conference Finals, but from a talent point and from what those teams are doing and how they're using different lineups, we think that eventually that will be something that we can achieve.
All right, we'll go back to Yakiri.
Hi, Kevin. Earlier you mentioned working with some of the Skyhawks players. Ultimately, their goal is to kind of make it to the NBA. Have any of those players came to you and just tried to get some solid advice?
Not too much, and those guys have been great, honestly. They compete really hard. Just today, they were on defense a lot. We went, I think, a 12-minute drill where it was just our guys against all the Skyhawks guys, and they're close to NBA players, and a lot of them have been. I know Charlie Brown has been up on our team, and Taj and different guys have been up, and Jordan Seibert. So those are guys that are really good, and I'm sure they're going to keep getting opportunities, but they've been great so far.
Thank you.
All right, Kevin Taylor.
All right, now you're still, of course, a very young team. Just talk about how you've kind of taken the role of being a leader on this young team, and also how other players have taken it upon themselves to be in that same role as well.
Just trying to talk more. just being more of a vocal presence, not exactly being the guy, the leader. I don't think that we really need exactly that guy. I don't know if we have that type of personality on a roster, but just overall communication just needs to get better, and that's across everybody, whether that's on the court, off the court, bringing people together, teaching guys plays, being just the voice if things are going wrong. I'm just trying to communicate more and just be there for different guys.
Chris Kirschner.
You guys won 20 games this past season. Not only yourself, but others have talked about making the playoffs next year as the goal. You're obviously going to need to make a pretty significant step as a team. What gives you the confidence that you can go from 20 wins to, say, 42-ish to, possibly be in the conversation of a playoff spot?
The crazy thing is it doesn't feel as significant as it might look. And, who was I think the 8th seed this year was Orlando. And, there are times where we were going through rough stages in our season, and we still weren't that many games out of the 8th seed. And you go into the end of the year, and from a talent perspective, we don't think we're that far off from Orlando. And they got guys who've been in the league a little bit longer, and a team that's been together a lot longer than we have. And that's just one team, and not to nitpick them, but the significance of how far away we are, I don't think is that significant as it might look on the outside. And we know we've been putting in a lot of work. We got guys that are getting better. I think we're going to bring in different guys that are going to help the guys we have here. And there's a lot of games I know that we can get better, and that if they go a different way than they did this past year, keep guys on the court a little bit longer. I don't think it's that crazy. I think it's definitely attainable.
All right, we'll go back to Sarah.
I remember Lloyd saying a couple times last season that this was a little bit of a quieter team, and I think part of that might just be, you guys being pretty young. But how crucial is it for you guys to communicate more and use your voice more, whether it's defensively or just whatever it might be?
It's absolutely crucial. It's on both sides of the ball, and it can't always come from Trey. Can't always come from, now he's not with us, Vince, or different guys that we have on the team. For the most part, there's a lot of guys that got to speak up, and a lot of guys that play a lot of minutes that got to speak up more, me being included. And communication is one of the most important things you're going to have on a team. Is if you've ever been a part of the team, a team that doesn't talk usually doesn't win. So that's something we have to get better on, and just being on the same page.
Back to Andrew Friedman.
Hey, Kevin, you briefly mentioned the bubble a little bit. I know obviously you guys aren't there, but just from what you've seen through watching the games last month or so, do you think that not having the crowds has made a big difference on the defensive or offensive end? Because I know going in, a lot of players were talking about the depth perception, especially from the corners. So I just wanted to get your input on that.
I'm not sure. I know that they're still playing in an arena. I know that just depth perception for playing in an arena versus playing in a practice gym is definitely different. I can't speak to what they're doing in the bubble just because I don't know, but I know that without a crowd, there's the emotions that go throughout the playoffs. The highs and lows are definitely they're flatline a little bit more. I think that's why you've seen Denver being able to come back from 2 3-1 deficits and win 2 series. I think when you're not traveling and there's not the emotions of a crowd involved, a lot of times, like, if you get hot, you can win. And so I think I really don't think, this year there's an asterisk next to whoever wins the NBA Finals. I mean, every team was put in a similar situation and given the same circumstances, and the definition of the NBA champion is who was the best team for that NBA year. Whoever wins this year, that will be the NBA champion. So they all to go through the same thing, and whoever comes out on top definitely deserves it.
Got Chris Kirschner again.
There's obviously some holes on this roster with contract situations. What kinds of players do you think you guys need to add to be in that conversation next year for a playoff spot?
I think definitely a couple guys in the best case scenario, guys who've walked the walk a little bit. Hopefully been in on a playoff type of team, won a little bit. We're obviously, I would assume we're going to add our draft pick. I don't know what we're doing with it, but we're going to add another young guy to our team. But I would assume, whoever we bring in, I would assume hopefully they're going to be older than I am, and guys that have been in the league a little bit longer, kind of a veteran presence. Assuming we need a couple of those guys, just bringing in Clint and bringing back Dwayne have how important they've been to us, and having a lot of young guys playing a lot of minutes. Get a couple of guys in here that have been in the playoffs, know what it takes to get there, and can help us out along the way for sure.
We'll go back to Andrew.
Hey, Kevin. Obviously, Vince is finally done with his illustrious career. What are you going to miss most about sharing the locker room with him?
A lot. It doesn't really put into words. It does, even now, it kind of just feels like something's missing a little bit. And just his presence around the gym, having a player like that for how long he did it, all the things he's been through, it was great to have him around. And I didn't know if there was going to be some sort of role that he was going to still have coming into this year. I didn't know if with the season getting cut short, if he was going to be wanting more. But we're going to miss him a lot, both in the locker room, off the court, in the film room, really everything. I can't really explain his presence, but we're going to miss him for sure.
We've got time for just a couple of more questions. We've got one now from Chris Kirshner.
You can't name yourself. Who has stood out to you so far just in these few days of practice?
That's a pretty good question. Different guys have had different days that they've been really good. I wouldn't say one specific guy. I think a lot of guys there's breaking off a lot of rust. Not playing for 6 months. Definitely, our first couple of days were a little bit sloppy, as to be expected to play. I think today was the best day in terms of guys playing well. But there wasn't one guy that specifically stood out. I think if you go one, I think it's been great having Clint and just being able to protect the rim already. He's shown his value in that. Just for our defensive even today, and just being able to protect the rim of guys attacking it, and his presence on the court, the way he talks, and I think he's been great for a guy like Bruno too. I think he's making Bruno play a little bit harder and kind of teach him a few things. I think a lot of the things that Clint does really well, Bruno is going to have to do really well for us too. So I'll start with him just because he's unfamiliar, but it's been great having him around.
All right, our final question, it appears, will come from Sarah Spencer.
What have you guys been working on in those? I think you can do an hour of 5-on-5, maybe it is. What have you been working on the most? I remember Lloyd said he was trying to mix it up a little bit. The first 2 days, you guys actually didn't do much pick and roll work. What have you guys been focusing on?
Yeah, I think a big focus has definitely been movement off the ball. He's taken away the ability to run ball screens multiple times. We've done a couple different drills where we're playing full court scrimmaging and you're not allowed to dribble. And a lot of that is movement off the ball, screening for each other. We put in a couple different sets. I don't know if there's sets that we're going to run over the course of the year, but things that get us into different things. Throwing posting Clint or John up and having off-ball type of movement off of that, screening for each other, cutting. So I think that's been a big emphasis, is getting away from relying on pick and roll.